This is my MAJ6615 Therapeutic Strategies for Criminal Justice Offenders, Week 5 interview with Maya. And we are beginning right now. Good morning, Maya. How are you? My name is Frank Burton. I am going to be your counselor while you're here at the halfway house. And I just wanted to get to meet you, get a little bit more information. What I'm going to do is called an O1 to report some information on you. We have not received your files yet. So this O1 is just going to give me an opportunity just to get to know you a little bit better. So if that's all right with you, is it all right to get started with that?
Yes.
And Maya, what is your whole name? What's your last name?
Price.
Maya Price. Is it okay that I call you Maya, or would you rather me call you Miss Price?
Either one is fine.
Okay. I think I'll call you Maya if that's okay. All right. So Maya, what is your marital status? Are you married? Are you single, divorced, or are you separated?
I'm not married.
You're not married? Okay. Um, do you have any children at all? Are you in a relationship at all?
I have 2 children.
You have 2 children. Are they boys, girls, or a mixture of the two?
2 boys.
2 boys. Oh, that's awesome. What are their names?
My first son is Henry, and I had him when I was young, and I wasn't with his dad. So, and then in another relationship, I had another son, Victor.
Wow, Henry and Victor. Those are some powerful names. And thank you for sharing that information. You didn't have to do that with me, but I appreciate you sharing that information with me. As far as Henry or Victor's father, you are currently in a relationship with either?
No.
Not at all. Okay. All right. So what would you say your relationship with Henry and Victor's fathers are? Are they in the picture, or what's their status?
Well, my first son, Henry, I had around 18 when I was living in Fort Lauderdale. He was given up for adoption because I was arrested at one point, and no one would take him because he's a mixed race child. So Henry was put up for adoption. My second son, Victor, is 7, and he lives with his biological father in Delaware.
Wow. So you had your first son, Henry, when you were 18, living in Fort Lauderdale, and you had to give him up for adoption because nobody would take him after you got incarcerated because he's of a mixed race. And that I can see where that would be problematic for some family members. How did that make you feel?
Um, I felt like I had no choice because I didn't know where his dad was. I had no idea how to locate him. So I felt like I had no choice.
I think that's a pretty noble decision, that you would rather Henry be with somebody that would be responsible and take care of him instead of having him somewhere where you didn't know, or somebody who might not take care of him. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any other children?
No, just the 2 boys.
Okay, okay, thank you. Where is Victor right now?
Victor is with his biological father in Delaware.
Oh,
He
nice.
with his father in Delaware.
Okay. So are you originally from Delaware?
No, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Philadelphia, that's the city of champions. I love Philly. I did a lot of work in Philadelphia. It is a very diverse city. Did you enjoy your time in Philly?
Well, for a while, that was all I knew. Um, I eventually wound up in Delaware, but I was born in Philadelphia, and I was there until I was about 9. And it was my mom, my dad, and I had 2 brothers. So there were 3 of us. And when I was 9, my dad was arrested
Wow.
because of physical and emotional and sexual abuse towards me. And um,
Oh my.
so he was arrested, and then we came to Delaware.
So he was arrested and you came to Delaware. Uh, How was that for you to move from Philly? How old were you when you moved?
I'd say it had to be around 9, 10, because the abuse took place from the time I was in kindergarten, like 5 to around about 9, and he was arrested around that time that I was 9 or so. So we moved to Delaware after his arrest.
Well, you said you moved to Delaware when you were around 9 or 10. And what was that like for you moving from Philly, a bustling city, to Delaware? How was that? Was that a culture shock for you?
Uh, well, there was so much going on at that time. Um, I, I I really don't remember how I felt because of everything that happened before we moved. I really couldn't. It was just a different.
Well, Maya, I want to tell you that I really do appreciate you giving me some insight on what your childhood was like, about the abuse and the different things that you went through as a child, as early as 5. Those are some pretty prominent things that no child should ever have to go through. So I just want to let you know, from me to you, um, I'm sorry that it happened to you. It shouldn't have, and I'm sorry that it happened to you. Let me ask you another question, a few more questions very quickly. What's your highest level of education? How high did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
That's awesome. With all that was going on and graduating high school, that's pretty big achievement. Have you ever been, this is part of the O1, part of the intake process, and I need to ask these questions. Have you ever been diagnosed with a learning disability? And if you have, give me a brief example.
Um, well, I had a lot of difficulties emotionally. I was, I had a lot of acting out. I was, I think I was like 13 when they diagnosed me with depression, anxiety, and bipolar. Um, I would see a psychiatrist off and on for medication because of mental health issues. I mean, the story is just so, there's so much because with everything that happened when I was a kid,
Hmm.
at the hands of my dad,
Yes.
um, I had a lot of different challenges, moving from where I was born, the town where I was born, to Delaware, and
Right.
losing my what I knew as family, and then the whole it seemed like everything just changed. And by the time I was 12 until around maybe 18, I was in a lot of different group homes.
Wow.
Um, my mom requested it because I guess I was acting out, and you know, she she didn't know how to I guess, deal with the behavior. So I was in group homes from about 12 to 18 because there were a lot of behavioral problems that I had. And I think this, if I could count, it's probably like 7 group homes during
Wow.
the time that I was in. So, you know, the depression, the anxiety, and the bipolar was the diagnosis I received.
Again, Maya, I am so very sorry that you had to go through that as a child. With all that being said, did you ever turn to experiment, use any drugs or alcohol, any kind of substance?
Yeah, started smoking weed at 12, um, which it developed into a cocaine addiction.
Okay.
Um, and I would say that went on for a while too, but started with weed and started using weed, and I would smoke it every day, you know, and then, you know, um, I did that until I was arrested. So, and then later on, I started using cocaine around 17. And that was, I would do that once a week or when I had money, you know, if I could get my
Right.
hands on money, and, you know, I would do that. So, and then later on, I told you about the depression and the bipolar, and
Yes.
um, actually that I was given Xanax
Okay.
for that, and
Hmm.
uh, I was supposed to take it 3 times a day, but then I started abusing that as well. So um, I sometimes would take up to 30 pills a day.
Right. Okay. Well, look, we're going to be able to help you with all of that. And I love your candor. I love that you're open and you're willing to talk about some of those rough patches in your life. Let me ask you this. Are you currently using any drugs right now?
I got arrested, so um, I was abusing the Xanax up until the time that I was arrested. Yeah, I've been in and out of the legal system. I got arrested, charged with criminal conspiracy,
Mhm.
and did 6 months in county back in 2018 around March. And then there was a DUI. I got DUI too. So in July the same year, and I'd spent about uh, 3 days in jail,
Yeah.
and then I was on probation for a year. And then the next year, I I got arrested for personal identity, using somebody's identity information, and sentenced to probation, a year and a half probation.
Okay.
So, and then like 2019 to 2021, I had 3 different arrests for prostitution, but they dropped those charges.
Okay. 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 Wow. I think we're off to a great start, Ma. You're very open and transparent. I think that I think you're gonna do well here, and I think that we're gonna be able to assist you in a huge fashion. Just a few more questions for you uh, pertaining to drugs and what you said about your record. Have you ever received any? Let me ask you this first. When was the last time you used cocaine and marijuana or marijuana?
Uh, I think it was when I was arrested that I stopped using.
Okay. 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 And have you ever received any kind of treatment for the Xanax or the cocaine or the marijuana at all? Have you ever been in any treatment programs?
Well, they gave me some meds and some counseling when I was incarcerated to help me cope with that diagnosis of depression,
Okay.
anxiety, and bipolar. So while I was incarcerated, I had medication and counseling.
Okay. 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 So let me finish up here with just this O1, this intake, and then we'll definitely talk a little bit more moving forward and looking forward to when you get released from this halfway house. Can you tell me if your friends or family members use drugs, and how, and once you get out, how do you plan on dealing with this if they do? I mean, because you don't want to be around it. How would you approach that?
I, you know, I just hope that I'll be able to, you know, find employment
Mhm.
uh, so that I can try to stay positive. Um, I used to work, and I worked at Wawa for a year. I was able to work there part time.
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
and then after after Wawa, I had a job at Walmart for about 2 years. So I'm hoping that I can find employment so I can take care of myself and be positive and make sure I'm in a positive environment. So I'm hoping I'll be able to um, do well there. So that's what I'm hoping.
Outstanding. I love your insight. And we have a program, and I'll finish with this. We have a program that's going to suit you well, and we're going to work together to make sure that you get the most of this program. It's called Breaking the Cycle, and what that is while you're here, we want you to concentrate on some things that's going to empower you, so you don't have a downward spiral, so you won't reoffend, and so you can be exactly what you just said, very positive. Part of that program entails drug testing while you're here, um, an intensive trial, and post-sentence case management once you leave here. Um, and then we have appropriate graduated sanctions and incentives to address the behavior. But most of all, we have to continue to communicate and talk things out. And I love the fact that you're very open and you're transparent. I believe that you're going to be very successful, not only in this program, but when you get back out on the outside. So I just want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your candor and your openness to be able to discuss some of the difficult things that you've been through. And my hope is that we get you back out and you are successful and you do everything that you wish to do, and that you can get reunited with your incredible son and go on to lead a positive life. So thank you, Maya. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. You have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Somebody will be here to take you to your quarters, and then we'll talk to you in just a little bit. You have a great day, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. That ends our interview. MAJ 6615